Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Amari's Revenge. The goddess next door is confronted by a Nubian queen out for revenge at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this inaugural Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Amari's Revenge in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Former President Donald Trump held a rally in the Bronx last week.
This is Trump's first major rally in New York City in years. He took the stage just before 6:30, and he is still going. CBS 2's Lori Bordenero is live outside Crotona Park in the South Bronx with more. Lori?
And Christine, while thousands lined up to see the former president, not everyone giving him a warm welcome. Residents and union workers gathering here across from Crotona Park for an anti-Trump rally. The protest comes as the former president tries to gain support from minority voters. A large crowd of people lined up for hours to attend Trump's rally in the park. This is his first campaign rally in New York since 2016. Trump gained voters in New York City in the 2020 election, tens of thousands more than 2016. Some of those greatest gains coming from the South Bronx, according to the Wall Street Journal. The borough is one of the most Democratic counties in the nation. Many here calling out Trump for his failures in the Bronx as the former president tries to make a push in the Democratic stronghold. His talking points tonight: the economy, crime, and immigration.
We're going to bring safety back to our streets. We're going to bring success back to our schools. We're going to bring prosperity back to every neighborhood and every borough of the greatest city in our land. We're going to reduce taxes. We're going to bring businesses and big taxpayers back to New York.
He was in here 4 years already. What did he do for us? Absolutely nothing. I'm born and raised here. This is my park.
If he wins the presidency, what would you like to see him do?
Help build the Bronx up. Help get the people some jobs. Get them some housing. We got so many homeless people, it's ridiculous.
In a statement from President Biden's spokesperson tonight, he says Trump is a person who, quote, stepped into political life by taking the racist birther movement mainstream, who consistently demonizes and dehumanizes Black and Latino communities, has one true interest: regaining power so he can enact revenge on his enemies. We are live tonight in the South Bronx. Lori Bordenero, CBS 2 News.
Lori, thank you.
Now, a few days after the defense rested in the hush money trial where President Trump is being charged with making falsified business records regarding hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels, former President Trump decided to hold a rally in the South Bronx in Crotona Park. Now, this decision to hold this rally in Crotona Park is a symbolic gesture to show most of those members of the Blue Party the power and influence of Donald Trump, and how deep the power and influence of Donald Trump has grown, because the Bronx, where I've lived for all of my life, has always been considered a blue stronghold. However, former President Donald Trump wants to send a message with this rally, like he did back in 2016, that there are people in the Bronx who are looking to change the kinds of candidates they support, because the quality of the life in the Bronx has gone into a major state of decline. And President Trump, seeing that people in the Bronx basically are looking for change, he's basically looked to hold this rally, and he's looked to hold this rally basically to send a message to people in the Blue Party that they cannot take the black and brown voting blocks here in the Bronx for granted and believe that they are guaranteed and assured their vote. And that was shown a week before Donald Trump had his rally in Crotona Park, which is in the heart of the ghetto. I can tell you this because, again, I've lived here for all my life. Crotona Park and is a major place in the hood. And Donald Trump having his rally in Crotona Park was sending a message to the Blue Party that they cannot go out and take the black or the Hispanic vote for granted. in this 2024 election like they did back in 2016. That's because, again, when you have a Donald Trump, again, a red candidate, again, holding a rally in the heart of the inner city in one of its biggest parks, that's a major statement, because Donald Trump could have easily held that rally in Van Cortlandt Park, which is a predominantly white area and an upper class area, but he decided to come to Crotona Park, which is an inner city area. And again, that is all about sending a message about the influence of Trump on many in the Bronx, who basically, a lot of people here in the Bronx are deeply frustrated because we see the quality of life go into a major state of decline, and we've seen our economic base completely erode. I mean, recently we just had the Concourse Multiplex Cinema basically wind up closing due to people wanting to not want to make a business deal. And again, that basically destroys the quality of life in the Yankee Stadium area, where we've lost great businesses like the Crown Diner and many other businesses like the CVS. I mean, we've lost a lot of businesses in that area, not to mention we've had an influx of heroin addicts that basically loitered in the public library at the Melrose branch. So a lot of people, they're looking at their quality of life, they're looking at all the businesses closing and looking at the schools and the neighborhoods getting more and more unsafe. And they look at this, and again, this is making a lot of people look at many of these blue party politicians who have basically taken people in their communities for granted and taken their own communities for granted, and they're thinking about other options. And the whole thing is that when Donald Trump sees that, he again sees an opportunity to reach a group of people in the Bronx who basically feel like they're not receiving quality services from their candidates. And that's why he was able to garner this rally and have this rally in Crotona Park, a rally that really should have members of the Blue Party really taking things more seriously. Now, what I've seen on the news is a lot of people looking to dismiss Donald Trump having this rally, but when I look at that rally, again, this is the kind of thing that a person who has the vision can see an opportunity, and they see the opportunity to build on their base, because they, like 2016, we have politicians again taking their voting bloc for granted and not really providing voters with what they want in the form of tangibles. Now, the critical question that I have to ask regarding their support of Donald Trump is, what do you expect for him to do for you, and what kind of tangibles do you want provided for you? Because the big mistake that I see a lot of people making at these rallies is that they're getting in their emotions and feeling all they're feeling about the situation, whether they like Donald Trump or not, but they're never asking what they want to get done, and what they do is expect him to do things based on his agenda, not looking to make their own agenda. Because like the late David Carroll tried to tell us all regarding the political process, the ultimate goal is for you to go out here and create your base, and as you create your base, you pick the candidates, because you are the ones who are having the agenda, and after you set the agenda, you pick the candidate to represent the agenda and get the tangibles checked off as related to the boxes and sent back to you. I mean, election day is payday, but sadly we still have a lot of poor New Yorkers, especially those in the South Bronx. They really don't understand process, and they go to the rally getting polarized instead of thinking critically about what the tangibles they're supposed to get from the politicians that they elect. Because when it comes to your politicians you choose, you're supposed to be picking the candidate to represent your agenda, and you're supposed to be the one making sure that your agenda is represented first. And that's what I didn't see happen at that rally. All I saw were a lot of people getting in their feelings regarding Donald Trump, never thinking critically about the process and asking, okay, what tangibles do I want brought back to me in the form of things like earmarks, in the form of government grants, in the form of money allocated to the community? That's what you're supposed to talk about when you're picking a candidate, and this is supposed to be done before the rally. Before you even have the rally, your people are supposed to make sure that your agenda is represented and the points of your agenda are represented, so that you are ensured you're going to get tangibles when you and the people of your block go out here and vote for a candidate. That's the way you're supposed to go and vote. But sadly, what we have with a lot of poor people is that they get emotional about candidates. And as they get emotional about candidates, they vote for a person and they don't vote for an agenda, because they think, oh, I like this guy, or I dislike this guy, or this guy. They create a covert contract believing that they'll provide for them because they vote for them. But that's not the case at all. No, people vote based on agendas, and again, you have to have an agenda. And this is where this rally in the Bronx basically turns into a failure for most of the Bronx voters, because while Donald Trump has grown a base in the Bronx with many, I believe, Hispanic and black voters and some of the non-black voters, he basically hasn't really presented what he's going to do, because he believes he can take these voting blocks for granted. And again, he takes those voting blocks for granted because people in these areas, again, vote on feelings regarding a candidate, and you can't vote on feelings regarding a candidate. No, when you go and approach a candidate that you pick, you have to make sure that they are on point with the bullet points of your agenda, so that election day turns into a payday where the people are getting you the bullet points of your agenda. And those bullet points of the agenda, they are not meant to just be these ambiguous terms like jobs or quality of life or things like that. No, the bullet points are meant to be clear stated goals. I mean, this is where a lot of black people get it twisted. And non-black people get it twisted, but more predominantly black people, we get it twisted in believing, oh, we just vote for a candidate. That's how we got bamboozled by Barack Obama. Yes, he was a black candidate, but he wasn't representing a black agenda. So we didn't get anything from Obama, and we in the Bronx probably wouldn't get anything from Donald Trump. Now, you have a lot of people complaining, oh, we didn't get anything. Well, you're not going to get anything unless you have an agenda. No, you don't get tangibles without an agenda, and agenda is important, and this is where people get it twisted at the rally. They go to the rally, they get riled up in their feelings, but they don't critically think, okay, yeah, he's telling me he's going to make America great, he's going to give us jobs, these are general terms, but all of that is supposed to be taken care of before he even gets on stage. You're supposed to make sure that all of the bullet points of your agenda are represented by the candidate and the staff before you even have that guy do the rally, because what you want to do is make sure all of your bullet points of your agenda are represented and presented to you. And this is where a lot of what folks get it all twisted. And again, they don't see is the political strategy going on, because this political strategy here was to, again, show the weakness of the members of the Blue Party in taking their whole constituency for granted. But they couldn't see how to make this an advantage for themselves, because when it comes to elections, it's about paying you, we the people, first, and making sure that we get paid in the form of tangibles. That's what the whole thing is supposed to be about. And sadly, a lot of people got it all twisted. They got in their feelings. And again, one of the worst things you can do is vote with emotion, because if you vote with emotion, you're not going to be able to get your goals processed in a logical fashion. You're not going to get the points of your agenda met in a logical fashion. And that's where everybody gets it all twisted. They get polarized about Donald Trump making and his MAGA message, not thinking about how they can make it great for themselves. And again, they sit there and talk about this whole guy, Donald Trump, being in this blue stronghold. But the whole reason why he's in that blue stronghold is because of the weakness of Joe Biden and many of these blue party candidates like Eric Adams and hard-headed Carl Heastie and Andrea Stewart Cousins with policies like bail reform. But the sad part is that the voters don't understand the way you get change is you've got to have your agenda, you've got to get the goals of your agenda met, and you've got to get tangibles for yourself. I mean, what I saw at that rally was Donald Trump talking basic general talking points, but he wasn't talking to black voters specifically. I didn't hear him say a single thing to the black voter regarding black tangible talking points. So that's why this rally was a waste of time for black voters, because he wasn't talking about the anti-black hate crime bill. No, he wasn't talking about passing an anti-black hate crime bill specifically for us. He wasn't talking about cutting a check for reparations specifically for us. He wasn't talking about dealing with law enforcement reform as related to incidents like that one where that U.S. airman wound up losing his life. I mean, we saw nothing on the table for us. Yes, he said the symbolic gesture of having the rally in Crotona Park, in the heart of the ghetto, to send a message to all of those members of the Blue Party, but he didn't send a message to black people about what he was specifically was going to do for us. And that's where we all got it twisted, because again, you can't go to these type of things with emotion. No, you have to understand that you have to have a plan for your agenda before that candidate even goes to the podium, so that you can make sure that your points are presented as related to that agenda and you have a reason to vote for that candidate. Because if there's no support for a black agenda, there's no reason for us to go out here and vote. And if there is no guarantee of tangibles for foundational black Americans, then we can sit home on November 5th on Election Day, because I'm not hearing anything from Joe Biden or Donald Trump that is said that's going to be specifically done for us foundational black Americans. Now, if you want to pick up some of my positive black fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, you can find the books of the ISIS series, the Steam series, the John Haynes series, the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, my black sorority novel, The Thetas, and my black vampire novel, Eternal Night. You can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and you can also find them at big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos talking about different things, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Illuminati, the man who rules the world, takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.